Hi, I'm James Harris from Foundation IT, and I'm here today to talk to you about the supportability of Azure-based RDS environments versus the new Azure Virtual Desktop environment. In a traditional RDS environment, you typically have two or more session hosts delivering the desktop experience to users. The session hosts all need to be built and configured independently from each other. This means if you need to install a new application for your users, it could be a very time-consuming process involving switching each server into install mode, installing and configuring the application, testing, and then moving on to the next server. Should you need to troubleshoot an end-user issue, your options are somewhat limited. You can connect to the end-user's machine, which can be an unwanted distraction for the user and a complication for the engineer. Alternatively, you can troubleshoot on the server side, which would usually involve reviewing event logs and limited session information to identify the root cause of issues. If you suffer a major issue with a host or the farm, rebuilding could take days. In the interim, your users may well be left unable to work or suffer a serious reduction in performance should host availability be limited. With AVD, the only component of the farm you have to manage are the session hosts. In most use cases, shared hosts can be deployed, allowing a master image to be built and maintained, from which all other hosts are created. This means installing or updating an application is as simple as updating the master image, which can be done offline in your own time and scheduled for rebuild when convenient. At Foundation IT, we use the Nerdio toolset to streamline this process. It allows for easy scheduling of rebuilds out of hours and tight control over the rebuild process itself. Let's take a quick look at the Nerdio user interface. You can see the first option is to select the desktop image that we wish to deploy. Having rebuilt our master image earlier, it would appear here in the drop-down list with a date and timestamp. You can then specify a number of changes to the host if you wish. The area of focus for this video is the schedule near the middle of the screen. This allows us to choose when to push the change, schedule it to repeat at a given interval should we wish, and add a delay and messaging to control the user-side experience. This means that a master image rebuild can take place out of hours without anyone needing to oversee the process. Troubleshooting is also far easier with AVD. Using AVD Insights, you can dive into metrics such as connection diagnostics and connection performance, highlighting where users may be experiencing issues with their home internet or their own devices. To illustrate this point, let's have a look at some examples of available views in AVD Insights. First up is the connection diagnostics view. This clearly illustrates where users may be having trouble establishing a connection. The top of the screen summarises issues, and at the bottom left we can see an area for potential connectivity issues in the last 48 hours. From here you can quickly establish that in this example, Caroline had a failed attempt to connect on the 4th of August. By selecting the entry on the left, we can see on the right which host she was connecting to, the resource type she was using, and the client type and version she used to establish the connection. This is clearly very useful information to assist us in narrowing down the cause of an issue, as well as allowing us to be proactive with contacting users when issues occur. Secondly, I'd like to show you the connection performance view. This is where you can really dig into whether a user's home connection may be causing issues, which is obviously really useful in the new world of hybrid working that we're living in these days. We can clearly see here that whilst all the top 10 users have a median time to connect of around 30 to 40 seconds, Tobias has a 1.3 minute connection time recently, which could warrant further investigation. Further down, we can also see information for connection time by host, which could be very useful when trying to isolate a host-specific performance issue. When investigating, some of these metrics do warrant further explanation. You can find excellent documentation that covers this on the Microsoft support site. The article in question is Azure Monitor for Azure Virtual Desktop Glossary. Finally, I'd like to mention user profiles. As an IT professional with many years of experience in RDS environments, user profiles have to be one of the most painful areas for IT teams to support. With the use of a complementary tool called FSLogix, we are able to provision user profiles in a separate Azure storage account. Profiles are mounted seamlessly at login and follow the users across hosts. Not only does this make for a far more consistent and reliable experience than the old roaming profiles method, it also means storage can be scaled up and down according to requirements. Currently, with FSLogix profiles, storage does not automatically shrink to recover free space. However, Nerdio offers a scripted action that can achieve this either as a required task or on a schedule. In summary then, AVD is significantly easier to support and provides excellent metrics to troubleshoot the user experience from their side. Nerdio and FSLogix also provide great additional functionality. There are other videos in this series that cover the difference in architecture, cost and user experience. Please do check them out if you have a chance. Thanks very much for listening.